So if you have a problem with one of my people, you come to me. I address and fix the correction. You don't come in and degrade any one of my people. I'll go to war against that.
My name is Rob Clark. Sales for over 12 years.
Do you want to share the story real quick about when you took that call center and expanded it?
Yeah.
I like that story. Sorry.
Yeah, so I graduated college, and I needed to get a job really quickly. And I was really good at face-to-face sales. Never did telemarketing sales in my life, so I was a little bit nervous. But I tried it out, and actually in the first day, I didn't make a sale, and I was furious. I was pissed. And so the next day, I came back with a vengeance. And within 2 weeks of me working in this business, it was a credit repair company, right? It's not around anymore. But I became the number one salesperson within 2 weeks. I kind of rewrote the script because I felt like the talk time was too long. Everyone's talk time was like 40 minutes, and I got mine down to like 9 minutes, right? And so I was able to outsell a lot of people because the time it took them to maybe sell one, I was pitching 4 or 5 people at the same time, right? In the same time, and I was at least selling 3 or 4 of those. And so I just, I rewrote the script, and I really focused on stuff that I learned in the military about like tonality and about vibe and energy and qualifications and building rapport and getting the person to know that I was the expert on the phone. I'm actually there to help them solve a problem. And I never actually sold credit repair. I always sold somebody the opportunity to fix a problem and buy their house, to fix a problem and get their business funding, to fix the problem, and we're the solution to fixing that problem, and then helping them move on to getting upgraded in the life the way they wanted to, right? I always sold the results, never the product or service. Nobody cares about the product. Everybody cares about the result that the product or service delivers, right? And so I then got promoted to sales director within 1 month, right? We had about 9 salespeople, and then we went over to about 150 salespeople. We went from doing like $50,000 a month in new business to over 1.7 a month in new business. And the reason why was because I didn't realize it at the time, but I was the culture, right? I kind of ran my call center like the military did. You know what I mean? Like we mustered at 0600. I did a rah-rah meeting every day. And the reason why I did the rah-rah meeting was because people were tired, people were cranky, people had a bad night before with their spouse, people are financially stressed out, and that's what's on their mind. That's what's in their frontal lobe. And so when I go through and I do a little bit of praising from yesterday's sales, I motivate people, I break down their goals. Each person, I knew exactly what their goals were individually, and how to achieve it by helping the company achieve their success. And so people would actually clock out and want to stay and keep selling because they were more excited about telling me that they actually achieved their goal than it was to stay in, clock in, and make an hourly wage. And so call centers have a lot of turnover all the time. I lost like 1 person in 6 months because she got a nursing degree. And she almost wanted to drop out of nursing. I'm the one that actually encouraged her to continue on. And just to make these amount of sales, to make this much money, will help her pay off her nursing tuition so that she can actually finish her nursing degree. And so I figure losing 1 person out of 150 because she got a degree and got a job as a nurse was pretty good, But when I left that company, they brought in another guy with a lot more call center experience than I had. And he was a performer, but he wasn't a leader. And so he completely destroyed the culture. And like within 3 months, they went from like 150 salesmen down to like 30. And they had called me back several times, but I had kind of like, we had disagreements in management. I wanted to grow the company exponentially and really care about our employees. So I did a lot of stuff like, we have these rewards called spiffs. And like a lot of people want to do the big spiffs. Like the number one salesman gets a brand new 65-inch TV, or they get to we get to rent a Hummer for them for the weekend. They can rent a Hummer, something like that, right? I didn't care. I understood how people are, and they care more about instant gratification than they do working a whole year, a whole month, or a whole quarter really hard. So what I would do is I would grab the spiff money of like the $1,000. I would turn it into 5s, 10s, some 20s, and 150. And I would put it in all these envelopes. huge envelopes all the time. And I said, once we either hit like our daily goal in the morning shift, we hit our daily number, every person that got a sale after that already had an existing sale got to pick an envelope, right? And so I had a ton of 5s, I had less 10s, I had less 20s and 10s, and I only had 150, right? But people saw like that $5 bill as instant gratification. That paid for lunch, right? If they got a $20 bill, that pays for lunch for the week. You know what I mean? And they worked harder for that instant gratification than they did for their paychecks. It was crazy. It was epic. And so even when the company owner wouldn't give me money for spiffs, I would go to the ATM and pull out money myself because I got a percentage of the floor. So it didn't matter. The more they sell, the higher my percentage goes up on the floor because I was on a tier system. And I always max out at the 4 or 5%. But that extra percentage between 4 and 5 paid me back plus some on the money I pulled out of the ATM. So I didn't care, you know? And those environments is all about culture. Culture, culture, culture. Holding them accountable to what they want, not to what the company wants. I know where the person needs to be profitable for the company. And as long as I can intertwine what they need to achieve on a weekly basis to be profitable for the company, would also intertwine but holding them accountable to what they wanted. If they wanted to make $1,000 a week and make $50,000 a year, right? Well, I would reverse engineer that with them. This is how many sales per week. This is how many per day. This is where your close ratio needs to be at. This is where your talk time needs to be. And then if they had I also loved walking the beat. They call it walking the beat. I would never be in my office. The owner would always get mad at me because I wasn't sitting in my office waiting for his call, right? And so I would never be there because if one of my sales guys were struggling to close a deal or had a problem answering someone's question, or they were focusing on how our service was actually done versus why it benefits the client, I would tell them, hey, tell them the manager wants to talk to that client, right? And then I would take that recording and email that to my salesperson after I closed that deal for them. I would say I would take the deal from them, but I never actually did it, you know, only because I was taking money out of their pocket. But it's all about taking care of your people. So if my people needed money for gas and it was a crazy good salesperson, boom, here's $20, no questions, right? If someone's having a hard day, boom, come in my office. It's not reprimanding them in front of their peers, right? There's all these things that treating people the way you would want to be treated, giving the extra attention if needed, right? So it's like unlimited support and a crazy positive vibe culture. There was like the two things that I was obsessed with. And I loved that job. It was just too bad the owner I worked for at that time, cared more about micromanaging, belittling, and degrading. And I actually had to put him in a place where he wasn't allowed to come on my floor, and if he did, he was only allowed to talk to me. Because he would get upset and take it off in 3 or 4 tangents on one salespeople, and 8 people would quit. Because he just, that was just how he exerted his authority, right? Was belittling people and degrading them in public. And so the only reason I agreed to stay was if he would go take that somewhere else, not on my floor. He can come talk to me any way he wants to. That's fine. I'll take it. But in my call center, I was the chief. And these were my subordinates. They reported to me, nobody else. So if you have a problem with one of my people, you come to me. I address and fix the correction. You don't come in and degrade any one of my people. I'll go to war against that. And so we did, and we built a beautiful, crazy culture. And people that shouldn't have been salesmen were making $50,000 to $80,000 a year because of it. But it's all about unlimited supports. In the military, do you have any idea how many times they taught me how to shoot a gun? Unlimited. Unlimited. You know how many times they taught me how to put out a fire in the Navy? Unlimited. I was so good at putting out fires, I could do it in my sleep. I could tell you what classification fire is, what you need to be able to put the fire out, and I could do it in my sleep. And I took that philosophy and that culture, and I brought it into the real world. And I was like, man, imagine a culture that offered unlimited support to their employees, unlimited accountability to what they want to achieve for themselves, not for what the company wants to achieve, right? And maybe imagine if they just had unlimited training. So if they had a bad day at sales, they weren't reprimanded in public. They were reprimanded. They weren't even reprimanded. What we did was we broke down the recordings and said, this is when you should have sold. You talked the person out of your sale. call them back and just go directly into the sale. Right? But taking the extra 5 minutes. I worked 12 hours a day there. And I loved it. I was there from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And I was just crushing it. We did rah-rah meetings all the time. Spiffs all the time. I probably gave away $1,000 a week just in spiff money. But it increases the close ratio, which drops the acquisition cost down, which more than made it up. So some people can see it, some people can't.